Wow, good day everyone and welcome to another weekend crafty night here at Mommy Guide Inc. But unlike other crafty nights, today is a little bit special because we're going to talk about tech. Yes, our guest for tonight is Victor of Basic Networks and live streaming. Victor loves teaching the basics and is crazy about testing computers, mics, cameras, and streaming software and anything in between. Victor is an IT technical support specialist and is the content creator behind BASICNAS or Basic NAS. He tests networks, streaming, and recording, as I've said a while ago. Victor also has been streaming for almost 2 decades. He started live streaming, which is what we call now IRL or in real life, streaming around 2009 to 2013 on Justin.tv. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I do. So there, Victor tested anything and everything he could and helped out in the site's help channel with any tech support that was needed. And then he started live streaming again in 2022 up to the present. And just like before, he tested anything and everything he could when it comes to tech and all about the things that goes with live streaming and helps out in the Facebook groups like OVMG, where I am actually a proud member of, and also is Victor. And he provides help for all members, okay, with any tech support that we actually need. So, guys, for you in the chat right now, yes, please feel free to share this stream and ask everybody to jump on board with all your questions. All right, and we will ask them away with Victor, but not just that. Before we do that, actually, we'll talk to Victor about the basics of live streaming first, and he will show us some setups that you actually might be able to use. I know all of us have different gears, different situations, and please feel free to ask away later on if you have issues with them. All right, so let's bring our guest now in. First time on Mommy Guide Inc. Let's bring in Victor of BASICNAS. Hi, Victor. Hi, Victor.
Hello. How you
Yes,
doing?
good
How's everybody?
morning. Good morning to you. I know it's
Good
pretty
morning
early
to
for
me.
you. So
Good
Victor has
morning to me.
basically just finished drinking or making himself a cup of coffee. I don't think he has even had breakfast yet, probably after our stream. So, Victor, first and foremost, thank you so much for coming in today. Morning for you and night for us. All right. Yes, as you can see in the scrolling ticker, it's all about basic live streaming setups for us. And it's an amazing time that we have actually finally Victor coming in, okay, for us tonight. Okay, let's just go over the chat. There's just so many. Okay, hold on. I will just move it so I can read it. Okay, there you go. Hi, Lala and Victor from Tinaman Kenobi. Hi, Mitch, Master Red, Jason, Ali Margie. Everybody saying hi to everybody. Thank you, Batchmate Marie. There you go. And the fine art of distraction. This is Nathan. Okay, he's from Australia. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here again. And so nice to have you back, Nathan. Thank you so much for joining us again. And Miss Gladys. Hello, Miss Gladys. Artology in the house. Giga Art. Hello, Gigi. Yes, I think you know Giga Art, Victor. She's also from OVMG, also based in Australia. Love the intro music. Thank you, G. Hi, Marie. All right. So again, this is very common for our community, Victor. Everybody's saying just hi to everybody in the beginning. Guys, please don't forget, okay, to check your gears and then put down, bullet points or questions that you might have for Victor tonight. Okay, so I'm just bringing out everybody saying hi to everybody. All right, and of course, Nightbot, okay, is putting down all the links of everybody in the chat. Okay, Make and Do Crafts, Diane. Hi, good evening, Diane. Diane is based in the UK. Good evening, everyone. Yay, you got the Star Wars overlays too. Actually, Tina, I've got them for a long time since it was sold. It's just that I haven't have the perfect guest to actually use it with, right? because we're mostly crafting. So now we can use it with Victor. But Tina uses it because she's a Jedi, right? This is really perfect for her. Right, there you go. Guys, so if you've not seen Tina One Kenobi's channel, please head on to her channel as well. Jason Rosette, thank you so much for coming in. Sammy! Hi, Sammy. I hope you feel better, Sammy. Hi, Make and Do Crafts. There you go. Okay, then the greeting does not end. Yes, thank you so much, everybody. Okay, so I'm just putting it so that people and Diane saying hi to you, Victor. There you go. Okay, think I'm almost done with everybody's greetings. Coffee for you, Stella for moi. All right. Hi there, Victor. Liked and shared. Thank you, Batchmate Marie. Yes, please share this. I love tech. Yes. And our community also knows that as much as, Sammy, because Sammy and Victor are actually two of the most amazing people that has helped Mommy Guide Inc. so much. Hello, Victor in the house. Indeed. And of course, Norman's Diary. Thank you so much, Sir Norman, for sharing and always supporting the stream. There you go. Okay, Sammy, we hope that you feel better. All right, Victor, are you awake and ready?
I hope so.
I, I hope so. All right, so Victor, again, tell us a little bit more about, in your like what do you do first with your channel is called Basic NAS or Basic NAS. So, what is it all about?
Well, I wanted to make sure I put basic in the title because I'm
Mhm.
looking to help people with the basics. I feel that a lot of times when you're looking for anything in YouTube, you know, about tech or about cameras or about setup, they talk to you like you already know things that you should already know this. I'm not going to talk about this.
Mhm.
I'm thinking the opposite. From a lot of things that I've seen, a lot of people don't even understand like the internet. I mean, upload, download speeds, what speeds are acceptable, what settings should I be using for the
Mhm.
speeds I have. So I try to keep it basic. I try to teach people some of the, what internet is, what cables to use, that kind of thing. And at the same time, it's really like 90% me testing things. I mean, I test anything and everything, and then I upload it to the channel.
Okay, that's amazing. So, Victor, when they head on to Basic NAS, do you live stream or it's all edited videos, or is it a combination of both? So that, let's say, if they have questions, they want to, try to ask away. So, how do you do it? Is it a combination or just edited? So,
It's interesting that you asked that because I want to say most of it is live, but live in the group.
mm-hmm,
So what I like to do is I like to go live in the group, do my testing, do whatever I'm doing, and then depending on if I get people asking questions and in the chat, I might edit it, I might not. Cuz sometimes when I get people asking me questions, I might think I'm going to do a 10-minute live stream. I end up
mm-hmm.
doing an hour live stream. And for my channel, unlike yours is great. I don't know how you could do it with, 2 3 hours. If I do a video more than 10 15 minutes, it doesn't matter because most people watch the first 1 or 2 minutes. So if I was to do a 1 hour stream, I guarantee you I would get like almost zero views from, at
Mm-hmm,
least now, it's a new channel. So I
mm-hmm.
do go live most of the time, but in the Facebook group. And then I'll take that video and maybe cut the
Mm-hmm.
end and beginning or a couple parts off. I don't do a lot
All
of
right.
editing. And then I'll upload that.
Okay, so you mentioned about in the group. So maybe people are asking, what group? So where can they go and join and find you and ask
Oh,
away in that group?
in the group you mentioned, I'm so bad with names. The
Okay,
OM,
OVMG.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'll
yeah.
put the links down below if you are interested. So Victor and I and some of our crafty friends are actually already part of it. Okay, so it's an awesome group that you can actually go and practice and ask questions away. So if you want to see more of Victor, okay, of course, Basic NAS would be the first one to do that. And then, of course, you can head on over to that as well. All right, so Victor, we have a comment here from Marie Vicente, and she says, camera and tech overwhelms me a lot. And I think that she is actually a representation of basically the sentiment of a lot of the people in my community. We have a ton of amazing, talented crafters and artists in our community. And I know that most of them, not all, most of them would want to be able to share what they have, but the fear of tech, how to go about it, stops them or prevents them from doing so. And so tonight, I hope Victor, and again, thank you so much for coming in, that you would actually unpack it for us in bite sizes, so we can remember. It's like talking to a person, it's like a dummy proof, something like that. Remember, okay, so it's like one with in the past, Victor, I already did a stream where I had Tina One Kenobi, me, and Giga Art, okay, Gigi. We all showed the setups that we have. You know what camera we have, and then lights. But then again, as
You don't
separate
want to see my
entities.
setup.
Exactly. But Victor, it's like
You
as
don't want to
separate
see.
entities. We didn't really tell them how did we put together all of these things, the lights, the camera, the computer, everything to actually go live. We were not able to do that. We just show them what we have. But to actually combine all of these things so you can actually start streaming, we have not. And I don't think we have discussed that with any of our guests in the past. So this will be the first time, guys, that Victor will actually show you and tell us how to do it. So again, please, thank you so much, Christina. This is so right. Please put a Q at the beginning of your post. Okay, if you want if you have questions for Victor, because if you do that, I can easily separate your questions from the comments. It's Q colon, guys. All right, it's Q colon. All right, so there you go. And of course, we have Faith in the house as well. Link to the Face group, please. Yes, Faith, I will put it later on. There you go. Okay, so if you don't have questions at this point, we will start, okay, with the questions or with the demo, okay, with for you guys, okay? So first and foremost, Victor, is setting up a live streaming, setup, doing a live streaming setup is hard. Is it hard?
I want to say it's not hard. What I want to say is the what makes it hard is when someone is trying to do it for the first time
Mm-hmm.
and they're going through, let's say, like YouTube, and they're seeing all these amazing setups and amazing people, all these cameras, all I mean, the Rodecaster Pro, all this equipment, and not realize they need almost none of that to go live for the first time. You have to start crawling before you start walking, before you start running. And
Mm-hmm.
most people you're gonna find on YouTube, they're running. They've been doing this for probably years. They have like $5,000 cameras and all this equipment. They have people running the show for them. You don't see it. You see one person on camera, but I guarantee you, you pick some of the top YouTubers, they have an entire team running their setup and their equipment. You don't need all that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So again, so it also, you also have to, what do you call this? Temper your expectations, so to speak, right? So a beginner, you should be okay with just starting, and then you become better and better at it, right? Because if you want to be,
Definitely.
it's like, don't compare. Loria would always say something like, don't compare your first month to my 5-10 years, right? So there you
Exactly.
go. All right, so of course, we also have Ate Margie. Okay. Okay, hold on. Now we're having tech issues. Oh, there you
Oh,
go. Sometimes the basic is not always the basic setup at all. Danger of being another rabbit hole. Yeah, so that's why it's important that we have somebody like Victor to guide us. Otherwise, whatever we see out there, we think that we need it. We need that. I need that. I need this. I need that. When in fact, maybe not yet. Right? Maybe not yet. There you go. And Ati Margie says, done shared. Thank you so much, Ati Margie. And again, like just what Tina said, congratulations for a super duper successful grand live stream and birthday celebration yesterday, Ati Margie. There you go. And the crafty in me, okay? This is Judy. Hi, Miss Tina, Miss Mary. Happy birthday, Miss Tina. Okay, first question. Do you have any tips for top down shots for crafting? For example, how to position the camera? Yes, we will answer that later. Make and do crafts. Hold on, because again, Victor. So you don't get confused. Victor will actually show us, every step that we need to know. Okay. So maybe I'll you know, um, just do another question, and then we will let Victor actually show us the demo. I think it's better that way. And then hold on to your questions as he demos, and then I will bring in all the questions. How's that, right? I think that's a better option so that we don't stop him from doing the demo. Let's let him first do it, and then we ask all our questions based on what he has done. Okay, so even I think the second question will be answered by your demo already, like the things that are needed, something like that, right? So I think, okay, I'll turn you over to Victor. Okay, all right, Victor. For
all
beginning or
right.
various live streaming setups.
All right. So let me see if this is going to work. All right. So, what I like to talk about, and I like to break it down into sections, is you, you need internet. Let's be real. You need internet. You need a network. You need a computer. Most people overlook those two things because you could ask anyone, and what they're going to tell you is the most important thing is your audio. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have internet that could support, if you don't have a computer that could support the stream, you can have the best audio, lighting, and camera there is. You're not going to be able to stream. You'll be able to do recorded content and upload it. So I like to always start with your internet. So this is just an example from a website. And again, don't get scared, don't get confused with numbers. Basically, all this is saying is if you set your stream to be 720, 30, this is how much internet they're claiming you need. Upload. That's the magic. That's the magic word. Upload. We're not talking download. So when you run
Okay.
a speed test, you get two numbers. The first one is your download. That means you're bringing information in. The second one is your upload. You're sending data information out.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are like, well, I want to do 4K. How come I can't do 4K? Well, if we come here to 4K 30, they're saying you need 16 to 41. Just that number alone means I cannot do 4K. I have a 10 megabit upload. So you have to stay within your means when it comes to your internet. If you want to do better quality, you need better internet. Now, I personally do this one here, a 1060. 1080 60. You could do the 1080 30. To me, this is the goal. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want to overtax it because the more you try to do, the more it's going to be on your computer as well. And it's a whole thing. It's not just your internet. It's everything. So normally when you get internet, most people would just get a modem or a device from their internet service provider, which with me was the Comcast internet modem. I'm not a fan of those. I don't care for those. A lot of people like these types of things where they're called mesh networks. And what they do is you connect one of these to your modem. These other two would be wirelessly communicating with the first one, and this provides you internet throughout your house. So if you have a larger house, you might want to go that route. Me personally, I'm a fan of what I call modular. You start with one device, and let's say, for example, you're not getting a good signal, or you're having issues with wireless in a certain area, you could add to it and add to it and add to it. Now, we're not going to get into super details, because then this would be, well, that might be a normal stream with Lala for 3 or 4 hours. But, these are examples. And then when you start talking about computers, all right, so I'm assuming a lot of people have Macs, some people might have PCs. Except for like Ecamm and vMix, where you have to have a Mac for Ecamm, you have to have a PC for vMix if you're using software. The computer itself for streaming is not that critical. As far as is it a PC, is it a Mac? What makes it critical is how old the PC is, how powerful the Mac is. Now, when it comes to audio, you have to be careful with audio. To me, basic, simple, I want to plug it in, I just want it to work. This is a reason why I do not use a Rodecaster Pro or any kind of audio mixer. I use a microphone with the USB cable that plugs directly into my computer, and I'm pretty much done. The trick is to understand difference between microphones. So this one right here is a Samsung Q2U, which I just happen to have right here. These are actual pictures of my microphones. And this is more of a budget-friendly microphone, depending on what you consider budget-friendly. So this one, I think when I got it, was about $60. Well, what's good about this microphone is this microphone is designed to pick up audio from in front of you. As soon as you start turning it away, you hear less and less. So a microphone like this, or the one I'm using here, which is the other one pictured, the Samsung MV7, they're designed to pick up audio in front of them. That's what they call in-camera shot or in-camera microphone. They have to be here to be heard properly. As soon as you take one of these microphones and you start doing this, because you don't want it in the camera, you're going to have a problem. So you have to be mindful of what microphones you're using and their setup. And again, most people are probably going to be like, well, I need a XLR microphone, I need a Rodecaster, I need all this stuff. I don't use any of that. Just to let you know, I don't use any of that. They're nice, but keep in mind, every additional piece that you add to your setup adds an extra layer of complexity and another device that could go bad or go wrong. Best to start with simple. Lighting, I actually have this. This is pictures of my lighting. This is one that I actually have just to the side of me here, but I use that stand for other things. So this stand would actually be a nice stand where you could get a little adapter. You could screw a web camera on top of it. You could put your phone on top of it. That's why I use that stand for something else. And then the light I just put on a clamp. The light that's on my other side is actually this one. But there are different kinds of lights. It all depends on your situation. I struggle with lighting. As you could tell, I'm looking right now and it looks like I'm dark. Trust me, this room is not dark with these lights I have on, but sometimes lighting is one of the hardest things to deal with. But the key is to buy proper video lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Do not use the lights in your room. If you just start turning lights on in your room to start with, yes.
Yes.
But when you're trying to go a little further and advance, and when you're talking about buying lighting, you don't want to get just anything. So start with what you have. Your room lights will work, especially depending on the cameras you use, which I think is the next one. A camera like the Logitech would work with pretty much any kind of lighting. Same thing with something like a Mevo, even a mirrorless. The trick is to do stuff like Lala and some of these others. They use something similar to this, and they do all the adjusting. They do the adjusting for low light, for get the blurry background and all that stuff. That's where you cannot, when you're using something like this, you don't want to use the lights in your room.
Mm-hmm.
The other cameras will work fine. So I guess the main thing is to be aware of the devices you're using and what they could actually deal with. Something like this would be fine to start with, and to use just your regular room lights and stuff like that. But as you advance, you might want to go to not exactly these cameras, but a little bit better camera, a little bit better camera as you
Mm-hmm.
go. Are they necessary? No. These are just examples. And then, you have software. Uh, when it comes to like YouTube and stuff like that, you have thumbnails. You want to think about your thumbnails. You use something like Canva for thumbnails and graphics. You have OBS, which my understanding is a lot of people have issues with OBS. I actually started with OBS. I used OBS for almost 2 years, and then I found Ecamm. So now I'm 100% Ecamm. Sorry, OBS users. What I'm doing right now on the screen, I'm actually using an iPad with keynotes. And I got the iPad pencil. That way I could write on there. And, restream. Now, a lot of people, you go online, a lot of people, when they talk about restream, everyone pretty much thinks multi streaming. I want to stream to multiple locations. Restream could actually be your whole production. You could bring in a camera and restream. You could bring in a video. The only issue I notice with restream for your kind of setup is, I believe the last time I checked it, the only way to bring in a second camera is to bring that camera in as a guest. To me, that starts adding some issues. Now, maybe they changed it. Maybe you could bring in multiple cameras now,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm assuming you guys all want to do at least the two camera shot. So it was a little quick through the presentation, but like I said, um, I'd rather talk and find out what you guys are looking at or thinking at to give you a little bit more details. But you have to think of the total package. What is it I'm trying to do? If I want a camera on me and I want a drop down camera, I'm going to be doing my crafts on the table, then you have to take in consideration you need two cameras, whether they're your phone, whether they're a webcam, whether they're a professional photography camera.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people don't even use video cameras. To me, if you want to keep it as simple as possible and as easy to deal with, you should be using something like a web to start with, a webcam, maybe even a video camera, not a DSLR. DSLRs, you have a lot of settings. Then you have to concern yourselves with, they turn off sometimes after 30 minutes. How do I stop it from doing that? Video cameras are not going to turn off on you. Some video cameras, you could set them up with a cam link, run it to your camera and everything, and they're going to run perfectly fine. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing I notice with streamers. I never really see any streamers talking about using video cameras, which I'm going to end up buying sometime soon and running some tests because that's what I do.
All right. So Victor showed us, the basics. He ran through the things that we actually need as if you want to start streaming. So, first, of course, internet. Okay. So I think most people think, Victor, that as long as I have internet connection, I can do live stream. Yes or no?
No,
No.
no.
All
And I'm
right.
gonna give you a couple examples. Whenever I'm in the groups and I go to try to help people that are having issues, and again, these are just comments they're putting in a Facebook group, so you have the entire community trying to help. The
Mm-hmm.
two things that I hear, well, my internet's fine. I could watch Netflix. That's download. That's not upload. Oh no, no, my internet's fine because I watch YouTube videos all the time. This, and that. No, that's download. When you're bringing something in,
Mm-hmm.
is not the same as you're sending something out. So we always recommend doing a speed test. And I've
Right.
gotten some numbers that I was like, oh my God. It's like
Mm-hmm.
7 meg down and not even one up. With a 1 meg upload, you're not streaming. Record your content
Yes.
and upload it. And when you upload it, it's probably going to take 6 hours because you got 1 meg upload.
Exactly. So
So
guys, I
you
just
have to
want
work with
to,
what you have.
yes, reiterate what Victor is saying. Because that's very important here in the Philippines, Victor. When the service providers, promote or market their services, they would say 100 Mbps, 50 Mbps, 30 Mbps, 500 Mbps. But what they are talking about, guys, is actually downloads. All right. So that's basically download. So for you to be able to have a decent live stream, okay, what speed or internet specification do we need? As you said, definitely 1 Mbps upload will not hack it,
No.
because I actually tried doing that. When I was in the province, I was in Pangasinan. I had this one, pocket Wi-Fi that was giving me between 1 to 4 meg Mbps upload. So I knew that I wouldn't be able to stream. So I had to buy several. It's like to, put them together so I can actually go live. All right. So going back to the initial question, Victor. So what upload speed do we need, at least at the
Okay.
minimum?
I I I personally recommend
Mm-hmm.
a minimum of 10 megabits per second or MB.
PS,
I
yes.
yeah, for some reason I can't say it. And the reason I say 10
Mm-mm.
is because I'm being practical. I go live. Right now we're live. My
Mm-hmm.
upload is 10. I normally stream at 1080p 60, which is the highest you could do without going to 4K, and I have a 10 meg upload. So to me, that's my baseline, 10 or above. And
Mm-hmm.
just to touch on what you mentioned, if you got something that's slower, you ended up getting like two or three different mobile devices, you were putting them together, you were trying to
Mm-hmm.
get faster speeds. That's kind of what you might have to do. You if it's your like house or your location, you might need to talk to your internet service provider, find out what they're actually providing. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have at a minimum 10 up, that's the key word, you
Mm-hmm.
might want to try to get a different deal, get a little bit more upload. But at the same time, just like if your computer's not strong enough, you could get another device to help it. You could
Mm-hmm.
also do that with internet because there's things out there like Speedify that will take multiple internet connections and combine them. So if you're, let's say, on vacation and you got the hotel Wi-Fi, but you also have a hotspot with something like Speedify, you could combine them both together to
Mm-hmm.
try to get a better
Faster.
connection, a more stable connection, a fast connection.
All right. So before we actually move on further, okay, let's just go back to the questions while you were doing the demo. Okay, so let's start with Anna Zugari's question. So, how do I check my Mbps? A
Okay.
very
Um,
really beginner question, and that has been
yeah.
also a question that I had in the
Oh,
past.
Oh, no problem. So if you want to switch back to me, because I believe I actually have another computer set up where I could do this. So right here is just me controlling another computer. Don't worry about OBS. Don't get scared.
Okay.
What you do is, again, remember, Victor does a lot of testing. Victor has like 8 computers that he can remote control into in his house. Victor's
Mm-hmm.
Victor's excessive. So what you do is you open a web page and you type speed
Speed
test. And my keyboard is just goofy. Speed
test.
speed test.
Yes.
And the one I like to use is the second one, the speed test by OOKIA. I'm horrible at reading things. And what you do is you're going to click on here, and as soon as you're here, it's going to give some basic information. This is weird. I must have some speed. I'm probably running Speedify on this one, but it's not even.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, you hit go.
All right.
And never do this live, but this is a totally separate computer, so I'm not
Yes.
concerned with it. And then it's going to give you your speeds. Now, I believe, even though I have, and we could talk about that later, even though I have more than one internet provider coming into my house right now, I
Mhm.
believe this is only using Comcast.
Okay.
And I pay for 300 down, 10 up. So this little computer, this is actually a tiny little computer sitting on my desk. It's doing 230 down, 11 up. So if we
All
look
right.
at these numbers and we take consideration of these numbers, download is normally always going to be high.
Yes.
We're with streaming, we're not concerned with download, we're concerned with upload.
Uploads.
And to me, this has to be 10 or higher to be able to stream with confidence. Because if you don't have at least 10, even though you probably only need 5,
Mm-hmm.
your internet is shared between all devices in your house. So this 11 is shared between my 40 to 50 devices in my house. You might have 5 or 10.
Oh
You
my
might
God.
have children playing video games online. That is not something you want when
Okay.
you're
Live streaming.
trying to stream.
All right. Great. Okay, so let's go back. Okay. And so Anna, I think this was answered already. What is the optimal number we need to have? I think minimum was 10. The
Minimum's
higher the
10.
better.
Definitely. When you're talking about download and upload, so many people focus on download. You notice
Mm-hmm.
I said I pay for 300 down.
Mm-mm.
With my network, it actually used to tell me what I am actually using. And with all the craziness in my house, my average download use was around 25, 30. My average upload use was kicking about 20. So my network, all the stuff I have in my house, is actually crying because it wants at least 20 upload and I have 10.
Mm-hmm.
But to stream, you want at least 10. If you have 30 or 40, that just means it's even better. But here's a little trick. If, for example, let's say you don't have 10, you have to compensate. One way to compensate is do not stream at 1080 60. Just by changing that 60 frames to 30,
Mm-hmm.
now you're using less internet. By changing it to 720 30, now you're using even less internet. So the quality that you stream at is based on your equipment, your upload. So if you, let's say you do a speed test, you only have 5.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to recommend you drop it to 1080p 30 or 720 30. That way you don't overstress your internet.
All right. You don't overstress your internet, but the quality though of your stream
You
video.
will lose quality, but here's the thing to take also in consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're not streaming to YouTube because
Yes.
YouTube could do 4K. Let's
Mhm.
say I'm doing just in Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for me to stream
Higher
to
than
Zoom
720.
at 4K if
Alright.
it's going to be 720 or less, because a
Mhm.
lot of people don't realize that when you do a Zoom meeting,
It's only
sometimes the reason the quality is so bad is you're not even doing 720 half the time. You're doing like 380.
yes. Unless you
So
pay for the premium, right? So you can go
unless you pay for
720,
more
1080.
and you like request like HD.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is when you got two people on Zoom, you might get better quality. But
Mm-hmm.
once you start adding four, five, six people in a Zoom call, they drop your quality even more in order for that call to basically have its best chances of being heard and seen. So it all depends. If you're going to Facebook or any of these other platforms, some of them don't even stream at 1080. You might have to do 720.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Another question, Victor. Um, I've always, I always tell them because from my own experience, oh, Julia Mariel channel just subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing. All right. So, Victor, I've learned the hard way. When I was starting to stream, I would bring several crafters on, right? There would be like four or five of us. And I was using a MacBook Pro that has basically tons of applications in it already. And I was doing upload, I think a maximum of 20, 30 Mbps and an upload of maximum 10 Mbps. But whenever I go stream, my activity monitor would go like super like almost 80%. And then I would have issues with quality, issues with audio. Eventually, sometimes if you would look at my earlier streams, you would see crafting whatever, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. It's one stream. I had to go live 4 times that night because YouTube would actually cut you off if you go really low or your quality really, you can't, they can't, your internet really drops to a very minimum level. And so what helped me is I hardwired, meaning I did not use Wi-Fi anymore. Never, unless I'm outside and I'm doing, a vlog. Otherwise, if I'm in my setup, I always use hardwire. When I say hardwire, I use is it correct, Victor? A network cable, a LAN cable?
Network cable, LAN cable, patch cable, data cable. There
It's
are
the
so
same.
many terminologies.
All
Yeah.
right. So that basically it's the same. So what's
Yeah.
your take on that, Victor?
All right. So here's the golden rule, and not
Mm-hmm.
just for internet, for anything and everything. Wire, wire, wire. Headphones, wired.
Mm-hmm.
Internet, wired. Cameras, wired. Anything that is hardwired, anything that's wired in is more stable, less chances of having issues. But you also have to be careful because going back to the data cable,
Mm-hmm.
you have to know what cable to use depending on what it is. Internet people think it's simple. Oh, I just need a data cable. Well, which one? Do you get a Cat 5, Cat 5e, Cat 6, Cat 6a, Cat 7? They're not all the same. They're different speeds. So let's say you have a gigabit network. You have a gigabit coming in and let's say 600 going up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you use what's called a category. That's what cat means. Category 5 or lower number. A category 5, not to get confused with a 5e, category 5 has a maximum throughput of 100 meg. So if you have 1,000 meg internet and you're wired your computer with 100 meg cable,
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting better than 100 meg speed. Your speed is as fast as the slowest thing on your network. And this is the problem with Wi Fi. Let's say I'm in my studio and I'm on Wi Fi
Mm-hmm.
and I have my 300 down, 10 up. But let's say I had a kid. I don't have kids, but let's say I had a kid and he's in the front yard with his
Mm-hmm.
cell phone and he's connected to my Wi Fi. My Wi Fi now is as fast as whatever his phone could do, because your Wi-Fi speed is dependent on the slowest device connected to your Wi-Fi.
Oh
This
my,
is
I
why
didn't
it's
know that.
recommended. Yeah, yeah.
Victor, can you
Oh no,
say
yeah,
that again? I didn't know that.
yeah.
It's not the
Your
fastest, but the
Wi-Fi,
slowest?
your Wi-Fi is as fast as the slowest
Wow.
device connected to your Wi-Fi. So let's say, for example, you have a brand new MacBook and you got it on Wi-Fi, and it's an amazing computer. But then you have one of your kids on a 20-year-old laptop, and he's on Wi-Fi in like the worst Wi-Fi signal part of your house. Now your brand new MacBook Pro is only going to get speeds equivalent to his laptop or her laptop.
Oh, wow.
This is why I do corporate IT. This is why in corporate IT, we try to run like all these rules and restrictions. We try to avoid anyone with a cell phone to even connect to the Wi-Fi, because what moves around the building the most? You and your phone. So if you start walking around the building with your cell phone and your cell phone's connected to the Wi-Fi, here's another thing to think about, and it kind of coincides with this. Your your router, your internet Wi-Fi,
Mm-hmm.
the antennas on those things are a lot stronger than the antennas on your devices. So I could be in a room and I could see my Wi-Fi, but I can't connect to it. Why? Because it's a two-way communication. If your phone or your device's antennas are not strong enough to communicate back, it's not going to connect. But if you're at that borderline where, yes, it connects, but then you run a speed on that phone or that other computer, and instead of getting that 300 down, 10 up, you're getting 20 down and 0.5 up, that's going to affect every other device on that same internet, on that same
Okay.
Wi-Fi.
All right. I have a follow-up question. Thank you so much for that super awesome, nugget of info. I didn't know that. I've always thought that whatever, if I have a more powerful gadget, then that would overrule. Now I know it's not. Okay.
It's
Another
the opposite.
it's
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 the
the
opposite.
opposite, right? Yes. So
That's why
now,
you wire. Why
okay,
you
so
wire,
now
because
that
it
I
doesn't
am
matter if you're
hardware,
wired.
yes, thank you, Victor. Now that, okay, we're gonna go hardwire. Okay, so on the router, normally at the back, you can attach, like in my case, up to four cables. Now, if I use all of those ports, will that affect? And all of those are connected to a certain device or computer. Will all of them, will having one versus four of them being used affect the speed, or is the same?
Yes. No. No.
Okay.
Your internet, this is the best way of thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have a pie
Mm-hmm.
and your internet is that entire pie. If you're the only one at the table, you could have that entire pie.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's four people at the table and they're all going to eat from the exact same pie at the same time, you're dividing that pie in sections. So, to your example, having four things connected should be fine. But let's say those four things are connected to four computers and you run all four computers at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and all four computers are going to try to do something like, play video games online. You're going to try to stream. No, because your internet is shared. It's going to affect.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another trick. If you don't have the greatest internet, you might need to tell others in the house, if there are others, between this time and this time, I'm going to be doing my show. I need you not to be streaming Netflix. I need you not to be playing your games with your
Mm-hmm.
friends on the internet, because the more you use and the more devices, like I said, I have over, if I was to show you my network, you probably have a heart attack. I have over 40 devices. Like I have smart home devices all around my house that I've been testing that I kept. So I have like 8 security cameras of all different kinds of brands all around my house. Even if I'm not looking at a camera, it's still using some of my internet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything that's online is sharing the same amount of upload and download.
All right.
So it's okay to have things connected, but you don't want all those things
Okay.
running at the same time you're
Okay.
trying to do a show.
Again, this is why we normally choose the speed that we have at home, right? So me, I know that I'm going to be live streaming for this is it for me. So I really made sure that I went the highest that I can find. Okay, so that on top of that, because on not only live streaming, I'm doing all my businesses online, right? So I have a learning center which has a lot of
Oh,
Zoom all at the same time, right? So that's why I really needed to have. So now I can do it. My streams are okay. Everything is okay again. So but with my before setup, like 5 Mbps up, and then with all of those things happening, so it won't work. So again, internet is very, very important. All right, so we move on to some more of their questions. Okay, I am choosing now, so that's correct. Okay, from Superfloop, are there advantages to using in-cam microphones? Who would you say therefore?
when you're starting off, if that's all you could do,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. But
Okay.
to me, it also depends on the camera because everyone's going to tell you, you go anywhere in YouTube, they're all going to tell you, never use the microphone that's built into the camera. They're horrible. They're horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree. Some are not horrible, but what it is they will pick up noise from all around you. Perfect example. You ever do a video, whether it's just recorded to your phone or YouTube, or you ever do a video on your phone with the microphone and everything from your phone? It's
Mm-hmm.
not horrible, but you're going to hear everything around you. Some cameras do not have great microphones, but some do. So it depends on the camera, it depends on the device. If I use my iPhone, I don't think the audio's horrible from the iPhone. If I use my Mevo
Mm-hmm.
actually has 3 different microphones built into it. It all depends on your environment. My
Mm-hmm.
room here is not treated. I don't have carpeting. I don't got nothing to help with the sound. So, what's the easiest way for me to deal with that? I use a microphone like the Shure MV7 because watch what happens when I move this microphone away. You hear me now.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. We can barely hear you.
There's a difference when you use a certain type of microphone.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could use the built in, especially when you're starting off. Just
Yes.
be aware
Of its
that
limitations.
the limitations of any
Mm-hmm.
device,
Yes.
whether it's your computer, your internet, your routers. Understand the limitations, understand how to deal with the limitations.
Exactly. That's basically what happened to me, guys. So, right? So, for several, and of course, it also, I bring in people also as a guest, right? So, their internet also is an issue. So, it's like streaming issue everywhere. So, we just need to be mindful of all of these things. Yes, Victor.
Not only is their internet an issue, but also be aware
Mm-hmm.
when you're streaming by yourself, that's one thing. As soon as you bring in a guest, that's more resources on your computer, more resources needed from your internet. So just because you could do a talk, what they call a talking head, like if this was just me by myself,
Mm-hmm.
just because you could do something like this doesn't mean you could do what Lala does, where she's bringing in 2, 3, 4 people, multiple cameras, and all this stuff, because you're going to need a better computer you're going to need better internet. You're going to need, better everything. I see so many people that are running like a MacBook for 2012, 2013 with an Intel processor, and they're like, how come I can't bring in guests? It's a 10-year-old computer.
Mhm.
You got to be mindful of your devices, the limitations of your devices, and what you
Mhm.
could do with that setup.
Exactly. So, of course, everything is possible, but if you are just starting, maybe take a comprehensive inventory of the things that you have first and then work with those. And then eventually you'll learn what works, what doesn't work because of what you need, your goals, and then slowly tweak them rather than doing what I did, buying everything all at the same time, buy a camera, buy a computer, buy this and that. And then at the end, I didn't know how to use them, right? So it took me 10 years to actually start. So I don't want you going through the path that I did. So thank you, Victor, for coming in so they don't do that. All right, another camera question, Victor. Would a phone camera and webcam be sufficient enough for a basic setup? This is from Marie.
Yes,
All right.
but you have to take in consideration a web camera is what we call plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
You take a web camera, got one right here.
Mm-hmm.
You plug it right into your computer, and you're basically done. A phone is not the same. You might need special software like Camo or something like that in order to utilize that camera. You might need to make sure you use proper cable. This is one of the biggest issues I feel people have when they try to use a cell phone
Mm-hmm.
is they don't realize that they need to make sure they have the proper cable, because a lot of times just your charging cable for your phone is not going to work when it comes to your computer. So that's one thing. And another thing is you might need software
All
in
right.
order to utilize your phone's camera.
Yes, that one I learned also the hard way. I thought, just simply, I had a guest one time. So I said, okay, we weren't able to do a tech rehearse. So after that, I really insist on having a tech rehearse before I bring somebody in. So we were going to do a demo already. She was going to draw on her iPad. We couldn't bring in the video from the iPad because apparently we needed a software for that. And she didn't have it and I didn't have it and took us, so eventually we just did like this with the iPad. Placed it
Mm.
in front of the camera. That's the best thing we could do at that time, right? So again, that's perfect advice. I've also experienced that. So not
Yeah,
just
and
because you
perfect.
can use it as a camera sometimes for other things doesn't mean
Yeah.
that you can always use it for also for live streaming.
Yeah, and just to clarify, when I was
Uh-huh.
doing my demonstration, I was using an iPad. I was drawing on my iPad and everything. But how did I bring that in? I'm actually on Ecamm right now.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for Ecamm, I would not be able to bring in my iPad.
Yes.
So you might need software, you might need special cables. It depends on what you're trying to do. So my recommendation is for something super basic, keep it simple. If you need to do a two camera shot, get two budget webcams to start with. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be $200 webcams. I personally like the Logitech C920s or 20. I
Mm-hmm.
think the one I have is a Logitech C922 Pro. That will probably run you, at least in the US, somewhere around $100. But even if you
I
get
think
something
it's the
more
same. Very
budget,
similar price here.
yeah. So even
Mm-hmm.
if you get something budget like this one here, I think this one our company buys them for like 40, $50. But I mean, it all depends on you. I would recommend getting a quality web camera. So
Mm-hmm.
I personally like the Logitechs. You don't have to get a Brio. Stay away from the Brio.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Brios are bad, but now you're dealing with a 4K. It needs more resources.
Yes, if
Get
you
two
have
web
a
cameras.
quite an old computer or not don't have the
Yeah.
specifications for that, you won't actually be able to use it and might run into problems as well. Right? So again, Victor, that was a nice advice. Keep it simple. Again,
Keep
we're
it
talking
simple.
about everything basic in this stream, right? So for advanced ones, maybe we need to bring in Victor again, right? For an intermediate session for that. All right, another camera question, Victor. Is the Canon M50 Mark II camera good enough? Beginner camera for streaming or taking videos. I've been eyeing to get it since it's on sale this weekend. Faith is in the US.
Okay, so this is going to be an easy question for me
Mhm.
because I am using the Canon M50 Mark II.
All right, not that right now. That's your first camera right now.
That's the camera right now.
Okay, there you go.
That is my main camera. So what I have is Canon M50 Mark II
Mm-hmm.
with a Sigma 16 millimeter lens.
Mm-hmm.
That's this actual camera. That is my main camera. Now, what you don't want to get is the Canon M50 original, which I happen to have. Don't get scared. Right here, this is my Canon M50, but I have to use that with a USB cable.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can see a bunch of other stuff. This is another camera. This is another camera. So yeah, Victor got about 8
Guys, this
cameras.
is definitely not a basic setup what you saw
That's not
just
a
saw.
basic.
Okay?
That's
Don't be
not a basic.
scared. That's not a
But
basic setup. Absolutely
that's
not.
not a basic
But he's
setup.
just showing
Yeah,
you. All right. So again, so answer to you, Faith, is yes. Yes,
I love
absolutely
that
you can.
camera.
All right.
Mm.
An follow-up question to that one. What if they don't have the Sigma 16 millimeter lens? Just the kit lens. Will that be fine?
Well, yeah, yeah. So if
Okay.
you saw my when if you were paying attention when I showed the regular Canon M50,
Mm-hmm.
I have a kit lens on that one. So I'm going to bring it up again, and I know it's looking at my monitors. This is the kit lens
Mm-hmm.
on the original Canon M50. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with the kit lens. The reason I went with the
Mark two.
Sigma 16 millimeter
Yes.
is because if you look at my background,
It gives you a
you
blurry
can't.
background.
It's blurry.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that with the kit lens, my understanding. So
Yes.
for me to play around with having the blurry background and doing all this stuff, you need to have a certain lens. And to me, I heard a lot of good things about the Sigma, so I actually bought the Sigma 16 and the 30, but I like the 16 better.
All right. So there you go. Okay. And finally, this was the original question that we posted when we started from Diane of Make and Do Crafts. Do you have any tips for top down or overhead, okay, shots for crafting? For example, how to position the camera? Because sometimes do we like do it like this way, or should it be a little bit angled? So what's your 5 cents on that one, Victor?
All right, you're probably not gonna like this one, and you probably hear this a lot. It depends.
Ah,
It depends. It depends because depending on your camera, you could have it a few inches away from your desk. Like let's say you're doing a drop down on the desk, in which I have one. But yeah, here's my drop down. So this is my camera doing a drop down. But if you notice, I'm not getting a lot of space here.
mm-hmm,
So I might need to take this camera and raise it higher in order to get more of my desk. So when you're talking about the height, the angle, it depends on your workspace. It also depends on,
mm-hmm.
do you want it in front of you angling down? Do you want it off to the side? I'm going to basically answer this question with what I'm going to answer most questions with. Test it out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go live. You could just record locally, or you could, if you're using software like we do in Ecamm, you could just look at the Ecamm and see what it looks like. Whenever I'm doing any of my setups, if I move a camera, whatever, I look at it, I adjust it, I test it. I might go live in a Facebook group and I might ask people, hey, what do you think? Does this look good? Depending on the craft you're doing, if you want to make sure they could see everything, the only way to do it is to put a camera, position it, start, set up your crafts and see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That you have to test.
All right. Thank you, Victor, for that. Okay, and I was posting, some of the comments. Okay, we have here Janet. Janet, thanks for dropping by as well. And of course, we have Nazy of Scrapbookie Crafter. Coffee Talk and Tech. Okay. Hi, John. Okay, John is saying just know the Canon M line has been discontinued. So that's
Oh,
probably
that's
why
fine.
they're putting it on sale.
That's fine. It's still, as long as they still do,
The support.
and even if they don't do support, as long as the camera, like my camera, it's
Mhm.
mounted to my desk. It's never gonna move.
All right.
So as long as I could get it fixed, if it ever breaks, which I don't know why it would, I
Mhm.
never move it. This I could use this camera probably for 2, 3, 4, 5 years still.
All right, great. Thank you so much again, John. Guys, you remember Coffee Talk and Tech, right? So John Ryan, he's been here several times as well. Thanks for dropping by again, John. Okay, now another question. Okay, Diane, was that okay? Answer. I hope it is. Okay, next one is Tina is asking, are you on an ATEM Mini, Victor? Right now? No.
No,
No.
no,
This is basic, Tina. So we're doing basic.
no,
Okay.
no. I mean, I'm in Ecamm, and my Canon
Yes.
M50. Just to give you a little more details, Tina, my Canon M50 is connected to my Mac or one of my docking stations. I forget after a while, with a Cam Link 4K. So this is one of the only cameras of my 8 or 9 cameras that is directly connecting
Mm-hmm.
with a separate capture card to the Canon. I mean, to the Canon to the computer. But I do own an ATEM. I have a couple things connected to the ATEM, but I'm not using the ATEM for like my stream and everything. I use Ecamm.
All right. I'm laughing because the people in the chat are so funny. uh, there's like, okay, anyways, I continue on with some more questions, Victor. Marie is also asking, what software would you recommend to use when using a mobile phone for live streaming?
All right, this might be slightly contradicting myself because I said always be wired.
But this one is for
uh,
using a mobile phone. Yes.
well, even with a mobile phone, you could be wired because if you use Camo, I think I
Yes.
said that correctly.
Yes,
Camo,
yes.
you
I'm
need to
using it.
wire your phone
Yes,
to your
directly.
computer.
Yes.
And to me, there's multiple benefits to that. One, it's wired. So even though because it's wired, it's being used more as a web camera. So it's not like you're wirelessly bringing the camera in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wired. It's going to keep the phone charged because it's plugged into your computer. And then with Camo, if you don't run into certain technical problems, because now you're adding additional
Mm-hmm.
complexity to your setup, you if you, I guess depending on your package, you could adjust the lighting, you could adjust the camera, the way it looks and everything. So you could manipulate the camera if you use something like Camo. But now,
Mm-hmm.
me personally, anyone that knows me knows that I am a fan of NDI.
Oh,
So
yes.
whenever I want to bring in something like my phone, even half my cameras, they're on NDI. I use the NDI app, and that's where I'm a little bit contradicting myself because it's on my network, it's wireless. But what I love about it is if I was to connect my phone right now, I could
Mm-hmm.
walk anywhere in my house and I could bring the camera with me. So I have that freedom of moving the camera
All right.
anywhere I want
Correct. So
because it's on
NDI,
my
okay,
network.
Marie, NDI. Now, although of course it's there are many videos about how to set up the NDI, but I think Victor, you did have a video on that one, right? Up already on
I have a
BASICNAS.
few. I have a few, and I think I even have one that is using NDI on your iPhone,
All right.
and then I have it with other devices. But yeah, if
Okay.
you look at
So
my
if
channel, you'll see a
yes.
video there talking about iPhones and
Okay, so
NDI.
let's head on to, okay, you guys are asking where can we find Victor? All right, so Facebook, okay, it's Basic NAS, Basic NAS. So is on YouTube. All right, Basic NAS. So if you have questions, he has videos there, and you have still have questions, you can put them on the comments over there. And of course, his website is basicnas.live. All right, so going back to the
Now,
question. Yes,
make
Victor.
sure make sure with the website
Mm-hmm.
that you do the slash home.
Oh,
If
there should
not,
be a slash. Oh,
that link, yeah, you have to do slash home or that link not going to work. But
okay,
if
hold
you
on.
do basicnas.com, it'll work. I have two domains.
Okay, so
So if
we'll
you do
okay.
basicnas.com, it'll work. But if you do
Okay.
basicnas.live, you have to do
Use the
the
slash home.
slash home,
Home. All
or
right.
it's
So
just
I'll
going to take
edit
you to
the
your
one in
redirect.
the description. It's already in the description. So guys, I think the one in the description is correct. I think the only one that's wrong is the one I just posted, but the one in the description is clickable and it will take you there. So if you have questions, you want to see some of the videos on NDI, Victor already has those uploaded over there. All right. And then next
Yeah,
question. Yes.
and if you go to my website, on the top right hand side, it'll have clickable icons for the Facebook and the YouTube. So really, the easiest way to find me on YouTube or
Website.
Facebook or anything is the website itself.
All right, there you go. Perfect. Okay, next question. Next is from Marie again. Okay, her questions. I split my internet connection. Okay, I think this is, she says on Wi-Fi. I think this is what she does. Okay, between her and her son, who's a gamer.
Was that a comment or a question? Because that sounds like a comment.
Okay, it's a comment, but I mean, maybe it's like, is this okay, or is this?
Well, here's my question.
Mhm.
You say you split. So do you mean you're sharing it with your
It's
son,
like,
or are
for
you
example, they have
somehow
like 5 gig.
separating it?
So she's like a lot, a certain, I don't know, bandwidth. I don't know. I actually don't know. Marie, batchmate, sagutin mo. Hindi ko alam ang sagot. All right, batchmate, help. Maybe make it a little bit clearer, batchmate. Okay. Next. Also, should another question, follow up. Also, should I upgrade to a MacBook Pro for a better stream setup? Right now, she's using a MacBook Air.
Oh God, no. No, no, no. Okay,
There.
here's the thing. Again, it depends on what you're doing. If you're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
doing something very basic, very simple, you should be fine. As long as whatever Mac you're using is not like I'm gonna say like a 2012, 2013. You want something newer. 2015, I would say 2015 or newer, and very basic. If all you're gonna do is like a couple webcams and everything, you might be fine. If you're gonna try to do something like what Lala does, you are going to want a MacBook M1 and not the Air. Whether it's a MacBook Pro 13-inch, 14-inch, 16-inch, the Mac Studio, Mac Mini. I'm using right now the base model Mac Mini, which at least here in the US, I think I could pick now for like $550, $600, even if it's refurbished. As long as it's not like damaged or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as if you're gonna buy a new Mac, M1, not the Air, doesn't matter if it's the base model or a higher end model, you're gonna be happy.
There you go, batchmate. Yes. So actually, Tino and Kenobi and I are telling her definitely go for an M1. All right.
Yeah,
So even the
just
basic
not
one.
the Air.
Yes. So Victor and I are actually using the same setup. I mean, just not the same setup. His setup is way, way, way advanced. I mean, just the Mac M1. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay, next question from Tina. Is there a way to allot a certain limit to each gadget using the Wi-Fi of users in the same network? I think this is similar to maybe batchmate Marie's question, so that you can control their use.
Two comments there. One,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Two, that's not basic.
Oh, okay. So it's okay.
It could be done. It
Oh,
could
it's
be done,
doable. Okay.
and I'll explain a little bit further. It all depends on the network you have and the control you have over your network. Again, I come from corporate IT, so what we do is what's called traffic shaping. So we could, even though let's say we have 1,000 coming in, we could set it up to where every device is only going to be allowed 5 megabits. That way, in a corporate setting, if you have 20 people on their Wi-Fi computer, at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to get more than 5 each because we could set it at 5 or 10 or 20. So, to answer the question, yes, you could do it if your network allows you to.
Mm. Okay. So this is where this one comes in, Victor. Okay, this one from Marie. I have a 600 Mbps, then divided it between the two of us. His son, he uses 300 Mbps, and I do as well. And I think the network lets her do it.
As long as the network does it. But if all
Yes.
you're doing is running a cable to your computer and a cable to their computer, that's not separating it. You have to actually do it in the software, unless you
Mm.
have two internet service providers and your son's using one and you're using one. So it has to be separated in a certain way. It's
Mm-hmm.
not something where you could just like run cable and you're good, unless
Mm-hmm.
you run a cable to your son's computer that's a Cat 5 and you run a cable to your computer that's a Cat 6, then he's never going to go more than 100.
All right. Okay, because it goes to the slowest one, right? As we mentioned a while ago.
Well, even when you're hardwired in,
Mm-hmm.
your communication is only as fast as the slowest device. So to give you an example,
Mm-hmm.
if your computer has a network port that could do a gigabit,
Mm-hmm.
and you have it connected to a NAS, an actual NAS, not my name, a network attached storage, which I have
Mm-hmm.
behind me,
Mm-hmm.
that could do a gigabit. But then if you run a cable from that to your network, like your router,
Mm-hmm.
and that cable is a Cat 5 that could only do 100,
Mm-hmm.
now it's only going to do 100. If let's say you have a switch, so let's say you have your router, you said yours only has 4 ports.
Yes.
Let's say you need more, and
Mm-hmm.
you buy a switch, but you don't buy a gigabit switch. You buy a switch that is what's called a I forgot the name, but it's not a gigabit switch. It's a fast
Mm-hmm.
Ethernet switch or something. Then anything you connect to that switch is going to be downshifted because the switch itself only communicates at 100 megabits.
All
So you
right.
have to make sure every device, and this is why I don't understand when people buy a computer with a 10 gigabit port. Yes, it's future proofing, but you're not going to be able to do 10 gigs if your cable is a 1 gig, if your internet is a 1 gig.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's 1 gig except for your computer. You're not getting ten gigs out of that computer.
Exactly, exactly. And then follow up. I think Tina, you will like the answer to this one. As long as NDI doesn't make me buy more gadgets, it's safe. Answer? Will NDI make them buy
uh,
more gadgets, Victor?
it made me buy more gadgets because I went from
Wrong
one Mevo
answer,
Star to
Victor.
3. And I mean, here's the perfect example. My drop down camera,
uh.
that's a Mevo Start,
Mm-hmm.
which to me is an amazing camera for the price. It could be a wired webcam, a wireless webcam. You could use it with an app and stream directly to like Facebook. You don't even need a computer, but it also has NDI built in. I ended up liking it so much I bought 2 more. So I have 3 Mevo Starts. And just to make sure everyone understands, NDI, network device interface, NDI
Mm-hmm.
is not wireless. NDI just means it's on your network. One of my Mevos is actually wired with a cable
Mm-hmm.
to my network. It doesn't have to
Mm.
be wireless. But yeah, NDI could be dangerous.
Okay, wait. Dangerous because it can make you, do more stuff. But actually, NDI in itself, you don't need to buy NDI. You just
You
download
don't.
it, right? Exactly. So
Well,
don't be
well,
scared,
well,
Tina.
well, it depends. When it comes to your computer, you're downloading NDI. But when
Mm-hmm.
you, like my camera has NDI built in. But
Mm-hmm.
like for your phone, if you get the app, you have to buy the app.
Oh,
Here's the
yeah,
good
yeah, I
thing.
forgot that one. But it's
If you
cheap. It's
on
not
your phone,
very
but once
expensive.
it's not very
Yeah, it's not.
expensive, and here's the other trick. Let's say I have 5 iPhones,
Mm-hmm.
in which I think I do, laying around my house somewhere. You buy the app once, you could use it on every single iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Great.
So I could literally bring in probably 3 iPhones right now on NDI and have even more cameras, because as long as your network, as long as it gets a Wi-Fi signal and it's a strong enough signal, I could put an iPhone in every bedroom in my house and have it pointed at something, and I could bring that into the production.
All right. There you go, guys. I hope that really, answers. Okay, again, I know you would have more answers once you actually use NDI. So don't worry because we always have Victor here. We can always go to, okay, Victor. Okay, let me see. Okay, here's a nice question from Scrapbooky Crafter. This is Nazy. So I use my Mac as the Restream. She uses Restream as her platform. Main tech manipulation by my friend. Okay, so basically what she means is that she uses her iPad as her camera, but sometimes that freezes. Is it because it's not wired?
It's possible. It's possible, because you're saying you use your iPad,
Mm-hmm.
but are you using your iPad wired to your computer? Are you using it wirelessly to your computer?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're using, let's say again, like something like NDI on your iPad, that's, unless you got your iPad wired in, that's
Mm-hmm.
wirelessly. But if you're running an actual cable from your iPad into your computer and you're using software to bring that in, that's not wirelessly. So I think that it, we need maybe a little bit more information to understand it, but it could also just be your computer, because every time you add something, you try to do something, you're using processes of your computer. So what I would recommend as a starting point is look at the resources on your computer. Look at not wired
Not
to
wired
the
to the
computer.
computer, I think that's what she meant. So that's why,
Okay,
yes.
so then it's being done wirelessly. So it could be it could be the connection. Um,
Yeah, I think she's using actually this NDI because she has both oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was using Ecamm. She's using Restream. I'm not sure if Restream can
oh,
do
I
that. With Ecamm,
think.
yes, we can do that via NDI, right? But I'm not sure with Restream.
Well, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're using Restream on both the Mac and the iPad, I'm assuming you're bringing the iPad in as a guest. Is that what you're doing? You're using Restream, but you're bringing the iPad in as a guest. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
bringing the iPad in as a guest, you're
Yes, she
basically
said
still
yes,
using.
wirelessly. That's
Okay.
why. Mm-mm.
Yeah, because the only way I could think of right now with Restream is if you're bringing it in either with NDI or as a guest,
Mm-hmm.
and that's using your internet. So here's what you have to take in consideration. Because Restream is web based,
Yes, it is.
you're sending your signal from your room to the internet back down to YouTube or wherever it's going. So if you're using your iPad, let's say as a guest, now your iPad is sending a signal also up to the internet. So now you're utilizing more of your internet resources rather than having it local. There's a difference between your local network and your external. Your local network is going to be more stable, probably more stable and better communication than your external. So if you're using your iPad, for example, again, like a guest going to Restream, you're sending that out rather than just sending it to like your computer. So that's a different communication. You could be having an issue with that because of the way you actually have it set up.
Okay. There you go. I hope Nazy, okay, so you can I hope that helps so that you can determine moving forward if you want to continue using that setup or you want to probably maybe instead of an iPad just go for a webcam that's wired. That could be a more stable option for you again if you want, okay? So that you don't get those freezing or glitches. Okay, and then another question from Tina. Okay, guys, if you still have questions, you need to put a Q. All right, otherwise I cannot see it as a question and I cannot put it and set it aside for Victor because I might miss it. Okay, Tina has a question. How do I use OBS with my restream? Is this a fairly basic question? I don't think. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
There you go. Go.
So, and this is what I was trying to mention to you before, Lala, that
Mm-hmm.
I understand people are concerned with OBS. They find it difficult to use,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of similarities between all the different softwares. So here's a perfect example. Let's say I wanted to bring Ecamm into Restream. How would I do that? With the Ecamm virtual camera, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you use OBS and send that to Restream? One of the ways is by utilizing the virtual camera. Another thing is, and this is not as basic, but I'm going to say it anyways. Restream will accept what's called an RTMP stream.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a
Okay.
device, let's say in OBS, you could set up an RTMP stream. It will go straight to Restream. So it could be
Mm.
multiple ways. The only way for me to know for sure is to play around with it and test it to like refresh my memory. But the easiest way is the same way we do it with Ecamm, the same way we would do it going whether it's Restream or Zoom or anything. We just
Mm-hmm.
use the virtual camera and microphone. I don't think OBS has a virtual microphone though. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would be like the easiest way.
All right. So thank you. Tina said I need to test that RTMP. And knowing Tina, she'll be on it by tonight.
Oh yeah, she wants the hard way.
Yes.
But yeah,
When you
I
say it's like
believe
Tina is like you, Victor. When you
yeah,
say
yeah,
you can't do that, she
yeah.
will no, I
Oh
can.
no. Oh yeah. I could do it. So what you want to do is in Restream, you want to get the RTMP code because you got to remember there's a difference between
The key.
uh RTMP coming in and going out. So on
Mm.
Restream, you want to go on Restream and get the code that Restream provides and enter that RTMP streaming key and
Into
information
OBS.
on OBS. And then as soon as you do that, it should send your feed from OBS to
To
Restream.
restream. All right, Tina, I hope that helps. All right, right now I have RTMP of YouTube with OBS. That's what she is doing right now. Yes. Yes, Tina says, I love pain. Yes, the more that you tell her, no, Tina, use this, it's easier. No, she will go for the harder way. She likes a challenge, just like you, right? When you say, it's easier to do, no, 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 no. I will test this first. There you go. And she's saying thank you to you, Victor. All right. And of course, we love Tina, but she likes testing stuff just like Victor.
Oh yeah,
So,
I try to tell people the easy way because I don't want you to go through
yes.
the
Yes, guys,
struggles that I do to try to
yes.
get things to work sometimes.
That's why, what Victor is doing with his channel, okay, Basic NAS, is actually very important, especially for us. So, guys, if, please, okay, if you are not yet subscribed to Victor, please do so. Okay, these are his, of course, number one, most important one is his YouTube. Okay, so it's Basic NAS. All right, Basic NAS. Head on to YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and actually watch the videos. They're very, very informative, guys. All right. So the same in Facebook. All right. So maybe hopefully this in the future, Victor is gonna actually create a Facebook group. Okay, for that where we can actually come in there and ask away, right? So we'll see. We'll and again, as Victor said, the best is to go to his website. Okay, but this one, if you're gonna use this one, this has to have hold on, I will edit it right now, slash home. Okay, otherwise it won't work. So it has to be the one with the home. And what is happening to my overlay? So there you go. There you go. So I'm editing on the fly. So there, everything would be there. You can find this Facebook, YouTube, and other socials from there. All right, guys, any more questions? Because if you don't have any more questions, okay, let me check. So far I think we've covered all the basics. So Victor talk to us about internet, importance of internet, what mics. Okay, again, if you would see, Victor didn't tell us you get this, you do this, you do that. Again, it depends. First, check whatever you have, because keep it simple. And then if you don't have, then he gave us suggestions, right? So if
And
you miss
here's
the first
and
part
here's
of
another
this,
thing.
yes, if you miss the first part of this stream, then please watch on replay. It's Victor did a short but very full of information about the basics of live streaming. So now, before we leave, okay, baby Victor, you could leave us with, if we forget everything else that you've mentioned in this stream, what do you think are at least three important things for them to remember if they want to do live streaming pretty soon?
Three things. Okay, one, keep it simple.
All right.
Don't try to do the whole I need a Rodecaster, I need a Sony ZV-10 with all these lenses and cables and all this stuff, because the simpler your setup is, the easier it's going to be to maintain and control. That's number one. Number two, practice, test, practice again, and test again. The best way to know what works for you is by doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're concerned with not going like live to YouTube to do the actual test, because there's a difference between testing a local recording and testing live,
Mm-hmm.
then join a group. Lala's in a few groups. I'm in a few groups. Groups are amazing. They're not judgmental. You could go live in the groups a lot of times and practice. And number three, whether it's through the website or my YouTube channel, drop a comment, ask a question. On my website, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, I believe, or towards the top on the right, there's a little thing to like contact. You can send me an email. Feel free to send me questions, send me comments. I've had people make comments on a video where it was like, you know what, I like what you're showing me, but I need you to actually show me the entire setup. And depending on my time, I will make a complete video just to
Mm-hmm.
answer your question. So if you're like, how do I actually connect wire A, B, and C to do this? If it's something I could do, I will just make a video and post it, and it's there for you to watch anytime you want.
All right. So thank you so much, Victor. Again, I've had a ton of tech issue. One, it's a continuous thing. Every time you introduce something new, or even, updates your applications, computer, whatever, it can easily mess up your setup in an instant. So as Victor says, continuously learning, testing everything. So that's one thing I've learned. And of course, every time I have an issue, I just, Victor, do you have time? So, we just find the time to actually, do things, and then we try to troubleshoot. Victor has also helped Tina One Kenobi, not just me, and so many other people in our community. So, Victor, thank you for the amazing work that you do and for always being there for everybody who needs help. Okay, and guys, he is actually opening that, invitation to you guys. Simply make sure that you're subscribed to him on YouTube. And if you need more info, just head on to his website. All the links are actually in the description of this video down below. And Victor, I hope this is not the first and the last that we have you here. All right. So I hope that we can actually do, maybe we can do an NDI thing. I know that Mommy Guide Inc. is not really a tech channel, but anything that can help our community in terms of, going forward, imagine our community of crafters. We actually do Discord. Who would think in a million years that crafters can actually understand Discord? But we are absolutely loving Discord, right? And so there you go. Okay, just putting up all the current comments right now, Victor. Thanks, Victor, going for the simple setup. That's Marie. Thank you, batchmate. Okay, there you go. Tina One Kenobi reiterating the three important tips or things for live streaming, as said by Victor. Keep it simple, practice, test, practice again and again, and drop a comment on Victor's site. He will help you. There you go. Thank you, Victor from Tina. Yes, he helped me with my ATEM Mini recently. I was ready to stomp on my ATEM. It's a good thing that she did not. All right. So again, Anna is also saying thank you for making the notes, Tina. And also, of course, definitely for Victor. Appreciate this so much. Again, Nazy, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so, so much for being here with us tonight. Again, Victor, thank you so much. And I hope this is not the last time. So again, guys, see you next week for another crafty session. We will be having, okay, hold on. I will just show them, Victor. On Wednesday's crafty session with Mommy Guide Inc. and our dear crafty friends, we're gonna be having Fabric Printing 101. And I have amazing challenge to go along with this awesome stream. We're going to be having Miss Denise Del Ma- Denise Depano Avila. I had to remember her dad's name, which is Sir Maldwin Depano of Design Plus. But she does, instead of paper printing, fabric printing this time around. So again, guys, so please set remind. I'm gonna be posting already the link after this stream so that you don't forget, because we're gonna be having an amazing challenge that coincides with that. And of course, we're gonna be having also Fedrigoni paper again next Saturday. And of course, some more streams in between. Okay, Victor, maybe you want to say bye-bye to everybody? All right, there you go.
Bye bye. Adios. Avidesen.
There you go. Adios. And of course, Marie says, subscribe to Victor. Thank you so much, Marie. And I hope that you all do so. Okay, that will help Victor so that more people can actually see his streams, because YouTube will actually recommend his channel more if more people are actually liking and subscribing to his channel. All right. And
And
then, so,
please, and
yes.
yeah, and please comment, because, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I love when people comment and ask questions on the YouTube channel, because that will probably just give me an idea for another video. And some of these videos might start being more tailored to, Crafty's type streaming and multiple camera setups, if I have a better understanding of what issues you guys are having and what kind of things you guys are wanting to do. Because again, my channel is all about networking, streaming, and basics. So it doesn't have to not be about crafty setups or cooking channel setups.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you guys might have questions about, feel
Tech.
free to make a comment, and you never know, it might be a video.
Thank you so much, Victor. And we have a raid. I think a raid is going on our channel because it's Tina One Kenobi's birthday on Monday. So I think this came from Master Red or at Ate Margie's stream. Everybody's greeting Tina One Kenobi happy birthday. There you go. Good night, everyone, from Marie. Master Slave, thank you. Yes, hashtag Margie. Everybody is, yes, it's a raid. We're having a raid from Ate Margie. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and for actually saying happy birthday to our dear crafty sister, Tina One Kenobi. Happy birthday, Miss Tina, from Gail Juan. All right, from Alfie. Happy birthday, Tina. Okay, this is a raid going on right now, Victor. So Samantha saying happy birthday as well. Yes, thank you so much to our Filipino YouTube community, Jack's Vibes. Thank you for subscribing right now. All right. Again, thank you so much for making Tina One Kenobi's birthday super special by doing a raid right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Cusineri, hello, hello. MNN24 TV Blogs, thank you so much. And the list goes on and on. Heading to your channel after this. Yes, please. Yes, please, Nazy. That's Nazy, Scrapbooky Crafter. All right. Okay, thank you so much. There's so many more going on. Rose Labudon, thank you so much. B-Boy Official. Okay, Samantha Page Fox. Everybody, thank you so, so much. Yes, Art. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Diana Buwal. And many more. Again, this was a raid. Thank you so, so much. Happy birthday from Roman Victor Santos. Thank you so much, Sir Roman, for also dropping by my stream. This is Mommy Guide Inc. Maraming salamat, Sir Roman. Rose Labudon, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We truly appreciate this raid. Okay, again, Victor, thank you so much for being so patient with all of us, answering all our questions. It's almost 2 hours already. All right. Yes, we started at 8 o'clock. It's already 9:43. Thank you so much again, everybody. Ate Margie for the happy birthday raid for Tina One Kenobi. Tina, happy birthday to you. Advance happy birthday, my dear sister. Victor, we can't say thank you enough. All right. I will hope to have you back. All right. With that, thank you so
Anytime.
much. Happy weekend, everybody. God bless you all. Again, guys, thank you so, so much for an amazing time you had with us today. Thank you so much for being here. Victor, thank you so much. And Ate Margie for the rate. See you all again next week. Bye.